On this week's episode of the Heating Up podcast, we are doing a deep dive on the NBA playoffs. It's been exciting, and I'm just having aneurysms over here during every goddamn Knicks game. But we are going to do a little touch-up on baseball, a little touch-up on hockey, and then I got to give my depressing Premier League update, and then listen to the end, because we're giving out winners on Heat Check. So here we go.
Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance, and I'll welcome you to a tradition unlike any other.
He's heating up.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
He's on fire. Cristiano Ronaldo. Sensational. Boom shakalaka.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
There it goes. See ya.
He's heating up.
Trying to get open, fires away.
Fire! It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Love it. Welcome into episode 51 of the Heating Up podcast. And I got to tell you, I know we've missed a couple weeks here and there or whatever, so probably not year-wise, but episode 52 next week, we got to do a big thing. We're doing our first birthday. So I think this is a big deal for all of us. This is our last episode is before we turn 1 year old officially. So I got to tell you, that's exciting. I love you guys. And just a little behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm super happy to be here.
Me too. We should do cake photos.
Cake photos.
Have you heard of that?
No,
You
but
guys,
I'll make
you guys know what the cake photo is?
Oh, is that where we all get in and then I smash cake in my face or something because I'm a baby and I don't know how to eat it?
Shit. Cake smash photos.
Yes.
It's really great. We have to act like we've never had cake and then slowly you discover it. We all do it in diapers. What do you think?
Oh my God, this is delicious. I see. We just got great ideas. All we got to do is hit record and then the juices start flowing. We're full of ideas.
I've got the photographer on speed dial from when we did it with my son. We can get this set up. I still have props. It's airplane themed.
We can.
Perfect.
That perfectly makes sense
This
with what
podcast
we're
is
doing.
taken off.
Dude, I knew he was going to get it. I don't care how early you woke up. You're firing on all cinders today, big boy.
I'm going off the rails.
Before we jump into what everybody tunes in for, all the exciting NBA playoff talk, I need to get this Tottenham talk out of the way. It's been terrible. We've lost 4 straight. Tottenham, we lost 4-2 to Liverpool this week. Fuck you, Matt. Shout out, Matt. A loyal listener. We
Shout
appreciate
out.
you, but not happy about it. We went down 4-0 real fast because we have no depth on defense. Emerson Royale is maybe I think he's just a scarecrow out there playing left back, and it makes me pretty fucking upset. I'm pretty sure 3 of those 4 goals wouldn't have happened if we had any competent player playing back there. But our first 2 guys, Destiny Udogie has been absolutely unbelievable, and Ben Davies are both out for the rest of the season with injury. So we basically just have some schlub out there, and he was playing on the same side as Mo Salah, who's one of the greatest players in the world. So we just got completely torched and destroyed. Saved some sanity, I guess, and saved some respect with 2 quick goals at the end and made it a little bit of a game. But I was very upset, and it's kind of the worst thing in the world. It makes me very sad. But we're playing Burnley this week. They're not a good team at all. That is the team that J.J. Watt owns. So if we don't come out and kind of dominate them, I will be a little bit legitimately concerned. We've just gone through a really tough part of the schedule. We've had some injuries. The coach came in his first year and started off really hot, but then realistically, I think we kind of tapered off to where we expected to be at the end of the season. And I think that it's come out, which I'm hoping is the truth, that the ownership is basically just giving the keys to the castle to Big Ange and saying, we know we're going to give you time, we're going to give you money, turn it around and build your vision. Because, he's everything that you want out of a coach. To get all these clips afterwards of him just yelling at the guys, getting pissed at them for passing backwards. He's everything that you want. And I just think that it doesn't matter if you end the season on a real bad losing streak. I think he still has the pieces around, or he has the ability and has the desire to make this into a great club. So I'm hopeful about that. I have trust in him, and I love that big burly Australian. So I think that was a minute. You guys fall asleep yet?
Well, with a name like Big Ange, that's all I heard. Big Ange, that's the guy you're going to give the keys to the car to. If I've had too much to drink and Big Ange is there, I'm going to let him take me home, even if maybe he had too much to drink.
Yeah.
I'm like, what, Big Ange is going to get me there.
Yeah, he's had
don't drink and drive.
37 Fosters, and he's like, oh, I've got it, mate. I know you do, buddy.
His kangaroos out front. Yeah. We just ride home together.
Hop on in my pouch.
What happened with? Remember we were talking about whether you should lose to. Did that happen
Man City.
yet?
No, it's coming up. That's so we have Burnley, and then I believe it's next Tuesday. So I think it's a week from
Soccer is
today.
endless.
It's coming to an end. I think Tottenham have 3 more games. So we have it, but it just goes on. It does never stop. So basically that ends, and then like the Euros start. So all of the European countries get together and all play each other, and then there's World Cup qualifiers, and then the season starts all over again. I don't think these guys get a break. I think
When is the World Cup?
In like 2 years, 3 years.
Is soccer big in the Olympics? We have the Olympics this summer.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it is.
Is soccer in the Olympics? Dumb
I
question.
think so.
I have no idea.
I'll fact check.
Fact check us. But that's also a little teaser for the people. I do have a guy that I work with, Mike. You do know him, Kyle. Big fan of yours.
Love Kyle.
Big Olympics guy. So we'll get him on for a little Olympic teaser. And I told him, I was like, you can come on the podcast if you make us some money in the Olympics. And also, can we fact check? Can we bet on the Olympics?
I was literally just going to say that.
I
can't. I was not a better back at the last Summer Olympics, so I'm new to this. Is it fair game?
It should be.
Soccer
Do you think
will
it's
once
like
again get its start.
betting on individuals? Like I'm thinking track and field. Like obviously as a former cross-country track and field runner, I've never been able to bet on it. Do you think we can bet on individuals, or is it like you can only bet on the country for like team-based sports things? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
Like,
if not, I would just I feel like I'd put the mortgage on Katie Ledecky to win whatever races she's in swimming. Like, I want to be able to bet U.S. basketball. It'd be fun as shit.
Yeah.
I hope so. So
Well,
fingers crossed.
I've never bet on the Olympics. I don't know, and I will look into that during the show too. I will tell you, soccer is an Olympic sport.
Okay.
The soccer games actually will start before the opening ceremonies, I guess, because it's a huge tournament and they gotta do that. We will be bidding farewell to 3 of some of your favorite sports, I'm sure. Karate, softball, and baseball will not be sports this year. So
That's too bad, I guess. I feel like they have that World Baseball Classic every year that I also don't watch, so I don't.
I was really into. I was actually into the softball when I was younger. Like, 'cause softball doesn't get much hype on TV. So, like for young girls playing softball, I feel like the Olympics was a lot of fun when the U.S. team was good. But maybe it's just something where the top players weren't really playing anymore. It wasn't gaining demand. I feel like that's an interesting pull. There's new weird sports. Isn't like skateboarding? I think in now. Lacrosse maybe is coming in for the first time.
I did know that. I don't know if it's this year. It might be.
Surfing,
that might be in the.
There's like
coming.
very weird sports.
I think 2028 is lacrosse,
Okay.
but I think softball just feels like one of those things that the U.S. tried to get in there just to like rack up the medal count, because that feels like who else is playing softball? I feel like it'd be us just like. Can you imagine us just like crushing Madagascar 1,000-0 in softball?
Yeah. I mean, how fun would it be to like bet on random countries? Like, I'm sure they'll have it like over under on their like medal totals for like picking a random country, just like and being like, for I don't know, not any gold probably most likely, but that I feel like that's an added element to. I hope we can bet on this because I'm getting hyped just talking about this.
Well, have I got news for you? First of all, I hate softball because when I grew up, I had a cousin. I had a cousin who was awesome at softball, and it was all anybody would ever talk about. And I played 3 sports as a kid, and I wasn't bad at them. I wasn't like, I guess, as good as she was, but where is she now? She's not a professional softball player. So thanks a lot, Kirsten, for ruining my childhood. No one ever talked about me.
We can just earmark this about 10 minutes in for your therapist. So if you want, I can just send this right to her.
If you could just forward it to betterhelp.com, no free ads. Nearly every legal sports book, you got to hear nearly every legal sports book in the United States posts lines for the Olympic Games. So we can bet it on BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Caesars, among others.
Oh,
but
outstanding. No, I
as
don't like
I'm
butts.
scrolling down, it says people also ask. So what do you think the next thing that people also ask is? And that's what made me laugh.
Oh, I have no idea. Is it about betting? Is it about Olympics?
It's about both.
Can I bet on the U.S. basketball team? What is it?
Oh, can you bet on the Special Olympics?
Oh, hell yeah.
And guess what, guys?
Yeah?
For the first time in the 55-year history of the Special Olympics, spectators can bet on the events thanks to betonline.ag.
God, well,
you bet your ass I'm doing that.
You bet your. I bet this just made me think. I need to get in this editing software back here, and we got to just have a button that will just play the national anthem whenever some cool shit like that gets said on the podcast. Because God bless America.
Yeah.
God bless. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Shout out America too. Just that's the top people also ask.
Yeah.
Yo, you thought
not the regular Olympics, the Special Olympics.
You thought betting on
those guys.
You thought betting on Chinese basketball was a degenerate move.
I'm about to sink to new lows. So yes, we will be betting, and we're going to be doing some heat check Special Olympics.
My God, I got some ideas. I'll do some research. We're jumping into real sports that are happening right now. We got the NBA playoffs, and we got a little bit of round one cleanup to do since our last episode. So Cavs Magic, that series ended. It was exciting. Ended up going 7. And Mike, you had me convinced that the Magic were going to pull it out. You were saying that Donovan Mitchell was giving up. He was already trying on the Knicks uniform, and then he dropped what? He dropped like a 50 piece in Game 6.
I think it was like 40, but he also it was all in the second half. And then he gave an interview and was like, "I'm tired of losing," which was like pretty cool. That's a pretty cool quote card. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know Donovan personally. I just the smoke is it's blinding that he's leaving the Cavaliers, even no matter what they do.
Yeah.
But Magic, Franz Wagner went from being like one of the hottest young players in the league to
really good.
I mean, he can't shoot. He was like 1 for 15 or 0 for 15.
The hell of a drop off.
Yeah, and that's a big issue in his development to have such a poor performance, because it's that sticks with these young guys. So the Magic, Paolo's the real deal. Isaac is an incredible defender. I don't think they played him enough. And they have all the money, so are they going to get Paul George? Are they going to get Klay Thompson? I think they need a point guard, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. Paolo's really good, which they worked him to death. He was looking like he was going to keel over in that game.
Yeah.
But they put up a good fight. They're doing the typical, young team on the rise. You got to take a loss to grow from it and work hard over the summer.
100%. And I mean, speaking of other teams that getting tired and playing a million minutes, the Knicks ended up finally being able to finish off the Sixers in 6. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's playoff basketball and you just end up hating whatever team you're playing against a lot, but I really, really, really grew to hate Embiid through this whole series.
Yeah, he's hateable.
No, non-biased. I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Knicks. I have nothing against the 76ers, and Embiid is infuriating to me to watch. His style of play, his mannerisms, body language, everything is just so irritating.
It's the same thing like we were talking about with Edie. I mean, obviously this is on a different level, and I think we talked about this last week. It's just how does a 7'2", 300-pound guy get brushed against and get all these foul calls? And then it's they're literally able to cut together an entire highlight reel of all of the dirty plays that Embiid did just in that series. And it's his stupid face is just getting so tired. That was the only good part about it, is you could just see him just getting exhausted at the end of these games, just lumbering up and down the court. And I think Mike brought it up last week, or when we were just talking privately. It was I didn't realize in my mind Embiid is younger than he is, or I don't think he's 30, 31.
Yeah, drafted in 2014.
Yeah, it was surprising to me. So it's how much longer does that guy really have in his prime? And his prime has still been unhealthy.
You've been out of shape through your whole prime.
It's not a good sign.
Sarah, did you hear what Sasha did just there?
No. You might have been cued in a little bit more than me.
Sasha is trying to slide in, making comparisons now with Zach Edey to Joel Embiid. I was always in on Zach Edey.
Fuck Zach Edey. He's going to be terrible. I was just meant as far as being
what
a giant.
Pick is he going to be a number 3 pick like Joel Embiid?
No, he was being a giant. He's just getting those same calls that everybody's watching in the same way that you're watching Edey play, and you're that guy is so frustrating. Why is he getting all these foul calls? Not because he's a good player. Not because he's going to have a great. There's no way you think he's going to be the next Embiid.
Apparently you do. Your first comparison was him to Zach Edey.
And being the worst to watch and getting foul calls that he has no business getting called.
Well, if I was a GM, I'd want to get something that looks like Joel Embiid, and maybe Zach Edey could stay on the court and didn't look exhausted.
Yeah, you know, I mean, having that, having that Joel Embiid that gets you to a lot of conference finals, it gets you a lot of championships. You want one of those?
It's a Zach Edey type shit right there. I just can't stand. I can't stand athletes that can't be in prime condition for what they do.
Yeah.
And the best example of something that frustrates me as much as Joel Embiid is Conor McGregor, which I know that's like way out of left field, but Conor McGregor, when he was entering his absolute apex, like after those, and I don't know how much of his fights you watch, or I'm not a huge UFC, but I would always watch Conor McGregor fights. He, after I believe it was like that second Nate Diaz fight, which was like an all-timer, he would go into these fights, and by the third round, it's like, oh my God, he's gassed. And I'm like, how could you be gassed? It's all you do.
Right.
Is you're a professional athlete. It's not success or failure or even necessarily performance. I'm really turned off by people who can't get in enough shape to do what they do for a living and millions of dollars.
And Embiid always gets the injury card, which he has had a lot of injuries, but like on a small scale level, like playing Division I college sports, like if I was not able to run, which was my sport, like you're being forced by coaching, trainers, everyone to work out in some other capacity, however you're supposed to be, whether it's going in the nasty pool and swimming and turning your hair green or whatever it is. Like, so don't tell me that with like at a professional sports level that Embiid was not doing some type of not just rehab, but like maintenance, conditioning, whatever was capable. If he can't utilize the knee or anything early on, like they have that crazy arm bike, so get your heart rate up. Like they had to have him doing something for cardiovascular fitness. It's not like he was bedbound the entire time his knee was injured, and that's what they act like. They're like, we're not going to know if he's going to be able to get up to game shape. Like, don't give me that way, especially with the resources they have today.
Yeah, it's like grandmas stay in shape at the YMCA, and like they have bird bones. Like you're so right. Even I've fallen. It's like, he's got to like take a little bit to get back, and like. Sure, maybe getting up to game speed. It's like I hear that, you hear that like going from college or something. It's like, oh right, like playing live is different than like playing out back and playing in, in warm-ups and playing in practice. But like you're so right. There's no reason it should have taken this guy 2 months to get in shape. It's like he got injured and then it's just like, oh man, I guess we'll see you in 3 months. And you're just like laid up at home playing video games, like going out getting drunk in Philly.
Yeah, he's not.
It's knocking the rust off, but that's not what he's knocking. He's not knocking the rust off. He's just physically unable
out
to
of
do
shape.
it.
Yeah, he's out of shape. And there's a difference between being like in game shape for whatever you're playing, like in basketball form, like you said, versus like cardiovascular aerobic fitness. And like he could be working on that elsewise. And I feel like he always gets this pass because of it. And it has to be so fun as his teammates, like coaching, like I don't know. I feel like you have to be getting sick of this, especially when he's coming back for like late season playoff push. It's like, this is what's going to happen. You're going to need big minutes from him, and he can't handle it because he can't even power walk up and down the court 10 times in a row. Like,
if it's a tight game going into the fourth quarter, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when you need him the most, and he's done. It's Draymond Green flirted with that during the Warriors title runs, and thankfully, like my frustration with Draymond was never his antics. I mean, to an extent, it's frustrating because you want him on the court. But my thing was there were periods in his career where he had the Joel Embiid issue of like, man, he is like hands on his knees and his defense totally falls off a cliff at points in the game. And then he got himself into great shape. I think he was close to being like unplayable because of his fitness level, because of his he doesn't have Embiid's skill.
Yeah.
His fitness level is what makes him an NBA star. And he worked himself back into like, that's why I think his career is excelling into to whatever extent in his mid-30s. Like that's a guy who's out of the league. And that's where Joel Embiid, you talk about going past his 30s. Like I'm in my mid-30s, and like the idea, like anytime I'm trying to like got to get myself back into shape, it is hard, exponentially harder than it was in my 20s.
Yeah, and you're never not in podcast
I don't
shape.
think he's going to do well. Yeah, no, I'm always.
Always.
I stay ready. I never got to get ready because I stay ready.
But speaking of
I'm just saying, like these big guys fall off a cliff. That's all I'm saying. Look at Roy Hibbert, Greg Monroe. I'm not talking all-timers because I don't think he's an all-timer. He's very talented, but like and we'll do an all-timer. Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
It was there. He had a bunch of injuries, and then It's gone. Bad year on the Knicks, and then he was on the Supersonics. And who did he finish his career with? Go.
Don't have it.
Nobody knows because did nothing. The Orlando Magic.
Oh, that is ringing a bell.
Immaculate grid.
It is funny you're saying. I was watching him lumber up and down at the end of some of those games, and I was getting pretty hardcore, like old Ewing vibes, just so sweaty. That still is one of my favorite jokes of all time. Is at a like in Christmas they do ugly sweater parties. Like I just going dressed as Patrick Ewing because he was just an ugly sweater. So maybe I'll go as Embiid. I feel like that might get some more people might pick that up a little bit more, but always makes me laugh. But you mentioned Draymond before we move on. I want to did you see that stat that was going around about the flagrant fouls?
No.
That now in half as many games, Joel Embiid now has more flagrant fouls. So over 970 games Draymond Green has played, he has 21 flagrant fouls. In 489 games that Joel Embiid has played, he has 23 flagrant fouls. So I mean,
because Joel Embiid's one of these guys we can't say is like a dirty player. He's like anointed in this untouchable guy category.
Yeah.
Where Draymond, they're like villain.
Yeah.
How many rings? How many rings has Draymond got?
What 3, 4?
Yeah, 4. And if he didn't kick LeBron in the nuts, it would have been 5. And guess what, guys? He didn't kick LeBron in the nuts. How are you not going to suspend Jamal Murray? And I'm sure we'll get into it for throwing a heat pack onto the court the other night, but you suspend Draymond in the NBA Finals because he allegedly nut tapped LeBron James, which.
What Embiid did, what Embiid did to Mitchell Robinson, taking him down, like tackling his ankle, was way more dangerous.
Yeah, and now he's
way
out of
worse.
the year.
Yeah, way worse.
Smacked Jalen Brunson in the face. That's star-on-star crime.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid's one of the most unlikable players in the league.
I think Jalen Brunson didn't get that call because his face already looked swollen enough, so they couldn't tell that it got hit. I don't know. But before we move on, Sarah, do you have any comments on Heat culture and it being dead, and Pat Riley being feisty, and Jimmy Butler having some sassy things to say outside of what was that, a club, bar, who knows?
Well, I'm torn on this because obviously big Jimmy Butler supporter. I feel like it comes with the territory of Jimmy. It's just he loves to talk, loves to trash talk, loves to whatever fire his team up. And I feel like you just have to know that's what he's bringing. And so far, we have no reason to believe that's not worth it. I do think that it's a scary thought to hear that he might not be with the Heat that much longer. I was even hearing today, I think it was on Part of My Take, they were possibly going to the 76ers if that were to happen in the future, which that's just disturbing. I can't even think about that right now.
What would that even look like? What would that even look like?
Couldn't imagine it. Couldn't picture it.
No. So I think overall, he put up a decent fight. It's so annoying. My ESPN app, like every time, when how you have your favorites, and then every time I open the app, it just goes to the last score of the Celtics Heat game, like right at the top every single time, because I don't know why. It must be most recent on there. I honestly don't know. I feel like it's taunting me on there. But what can you expect? I mean, the Celtics continue to annoy me. I feel like the Heat, they're in an interesting position. Honestly, I don't care that much about the NBA to get worked up over it. I feel like playoffs all right in, and I think they'll still be there next year, whether it's making a deep push or not. But I believe in Heat culture. I think we'll be okay. This is who Jimmy is, and I think you just let him ride with it.
Yeah.
You got to trade him.
Oh. I mean, he is 34.
He's going to be 35.
Yeah.
I know. He is getting up there.
He's going to be 35. How many games, and I don't have the number, but how many games did he miss for, like, personal reasons this year? Why is he not at the games when he's hurt? It's the playoffs.
He was at the home games. He was at the home games.
Yeah, he doesn't travel.
Why?
Miami's sick.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's too many sick clubs to go hang out at.
Yeah.
There's another guy. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, you got to trade him. And even if you get like 10 cents on the dollar, you got to trade him. You can't extend him. And Pat Riley won't. He's gone.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Pat Riley doesn't stand for that type of shit, and you can't put your
life on Jimmy Butler right now.
He is. Yeah. If he was 29, 28, I think it might be a different story. But how many all-time years does he have left? Probably not a ton.
Probably not many.
Probably none.
But yeah, maybe right. But to rip that Band-Aid off, Sarah, I guess we do need to talk some Celtics. I mean, they're just an absolute wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Just beat. There was not. I guess at the beginning it was a close game, but they just destroyed the Cavs. And it seems like aside from like two guys on the Cavs, everybody else, it's like shooting the balls. Who is that? It's like there's just I'd be shocked if they win a game.
This is just a waste of time. This entire series is a waste of time for everyone. Like, I feel like just bump the Celtics along. Like, don't make us watch this anymore. And that's it. Because then, I mean, unless you're a Celtics fan, like, absolutely enjoying this, no one else wants to watch these games. Like, we all know the outcome. We're, like we said, lucky if the Cavs pull one out. But even if they do, it's like, okay, we're just belaboring the inevitable here. Like, let's just move on with it. So it is just... I don't know. The Celtics are, along with Embiid, are increasingly annoying to me each and every year. And I actually used to be a Celtics fan back when I was younger. Like, I'm talking Paul Pierce days back, like, a long time ago. But they were, like, a likable team. And each year, like, I don't know. Like, Tatum, he's a great basketball player, but I can't get behind him. I don't know what it is about him. And Brown, same thing. Like, I don't know. They're not likable guys to me. And it's hard to root for them and hard to watch them be so successful.
Well, Jason Tatum gets voicemails from Kobe Bryant's ghost.
What?
You don't know that Kobe he listens to, I think it's like old voicemails from Kobe Bryant before games. Not really voicemails.
I was like, did you get it? Somebody gave his phone number and they're just
Jason Tatum is one title away from being like one of the more annoying people in the NBA to me. He wants to go on that LeBron type run of like feeling himself.
And people don't talk about his horrific tattoos enough. I hate his tattoos. Like, they just stand out so much. They just coming out a little bit on his shoulder, and they all just look so bad.
This is the hater podcast episode, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. We're feeling it.
I like it.
Fuck Boston.
Whatever. Come on the pod and defend yourselves, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum.
We literally just picked like let's just fuck with Pat Beverly too. Let's just get all the scariest guys in the NBA that want to come beat the shit out of us.
Yeah, come on, Anthony Mason. I think he's dead, but you know
he's still.
You won't.
I would still pick him in a fight over just about anybody. Moving on in some of these other quick series because every other game is a blowout. But I want to we'll touch on the Thunder Mavs. I feel like the Thunder are going to roll through that series too. The Mavs, I don't think have the guns. The young Thunder are super, super fun to watch. And I just feel like this is all it takes. I feel like the Mavs are always with Kyrie and Luka are just this far away from just a horrific implosion, them fighting in the locker room and that team just being absolutely destroyed.
They lost Maxi Kleber, I believe, for the season.
That's a problem.
And it does a lot for the way that they their offense was really clicking. A lot of it was he was very good at being like a stretch 4, stretch 5, and the only team that can lose all these players is the Knicks. Like, you lose a guy that's a key rotational piece, it's a huge problem. Heat lose Butler, you're out. They're losing Kleber. You go throughout the playoffs. Losing a key guy at this stretch, nobody's got time to get worked into. You're not filling that role, so you have to adjust on the fly. Yeah, I think the Thunder are gonna take it. Yeah, but the Mavericks are gonna win a couple games, I would think.
I think so too. I think with the Thunder being like a younger, slightly less inexperienced team, they might take their foot off the gas a little bit, like maybe a game 3 or so. I could see them losing, and then obviously locking back in after that. I'm really leaning into our hater energy today, but Luka in his garments, accessories, whatever you want to call it, is ridiculous. But he wears 2 different color knee braces, but then the legging underneath it, he was wearing the loose white t-shirt that looks like my grandpa would wear that around the house in the summer. And he just is showing this much skin on his each leg. It's ridiculous. And it's I feel like it's such a bad look when he's just whining to the refs and just slugging up and down the court in all of his gear. He just needs a sweatband, and then he would be the ultimate just trash boy out there. I can't. I hate watching it.
He's like a 2K creative player where it's just oh, I'm going to add this. Yeah. I'm going to add this. You're just the guy you just spend an hour randomly instead of playing basketball, just adding random bands and sleeves and whatever.
$70 in app purchases.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's just fuck. And he does. He's his face gets so red and sweat. He also is just a guy that it's tough being a white dude in the NBA. It's hard for us out here, us white guys. But he always just running up and down. It was getting a lot in the Knicks series. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it's just you just look so when your cheeks are so flush red like that, you just look 10 times more gas than anybody else.
Yeah.
People always think I'm gassed.
Yeah.
They're like, "Whoa, did you run here?" And I'm like, "No, I just got out of my air-conditioned car."
Peeled an orange about an hour ago.
Yeah. I didn't put sunscreen on, and it turns out it was 65, and now I'm sunburned. I'm a little sunburned from today. I wasn't planning on that.
You're just driving in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, Luka's teetering on my guy. Like, get in shape, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has the hustle there.
Teetering.
So it's like he always looks like he's like trying hard, not just like pitifully out of shape, where like he's pushing it and gas. But yeah, maybe if he lost some of the compressive devices on his like extremities, he would be a little bit less hot. But I feel like that might cool him down a little bit. Maybe he wears like a cooling vest under that instead. I don't know, but it's not a good look.
Maybe he has varicose veins and he doesn't want to get like blood clots out there, like what my grandma used to have to wear. Speaking of apparently Luka's just our grandparent.
Yes,
like he's got to wear compression stuff.
It's never a good sign when he's being referred to as grandma and grandfather within the two sentences.
Sarah,
he's got to make sure he gets blood flow to his toes.
You're a resident doctor. I don't know how much kinesiology you've really done, but what the fuck does a shooting sleeve do?
Nothing. Absolutely. I mean, so if you're wearing it, you think, right? Like the only concept that I could think is you want more blood supply to the area, obviously, because you don't want to tighten up, right?
Okay.
But they're like freaking hot as heck and overheating in these arenas. So that's null and void. Like it does nothing. I could see wearing it like in warm-ups or something or early game, but once you get sweating and stuff, not needed. Some people think that like it's like neurosensory thing where like having the shooting sleeve on that arm brings increased like neuromuscular connection. So you're going to be like more accurate and more aware of like the firing neurons and motors there. So that people believe, that's why some people wear it. Obviously people just wear it, I think, because they think it looks cool, but there is some like thoughts. Obviously that's hard to test. But that is one of the theories behind them.
Yeah. I don't want this I don't want this to be real science. It's like, if anything, just be like baseball, go full junk science, fight necklace, be like, whatever. This is, some voodoo lady told me that this would work.
Don't wash your jockstrap all summer.
yeah. It's like, just go full weird junk science. So it's like, it's actually my neuro. Like, I guarantee you, most of these people that are wearing shooting sleeves could not spell neuromuscular. So I do not care if they think that's the reason.
The tape is the one that I think is a little ridiculous. But I'm sure it's the same theory. Like the kinesiology tape.
It's not.
It's like that.
Have you felt that? It's like a tissue. It's like literally the thickness of a tissue. And it's like, tell me what that's doing. Like, it's not, people are like, oh yeah, it's like holding this muscle down to the bone. I'm like, no, this tissue is not doing that. Like, it's the same thing. The neuromuscular thoughts, like people argue and get away with it. And then you can get away with that because you can't really test it. So then they can keep marketing it and no one can like, show if that's actually true or not.
I'm just gonna start wearing like sleeves to my job. Like I'm gonna wear a headband, some compression. I'm gonna be like, listen, this is connecting me to my body.
I'm functioning better.
These are restaurants.
This is a fun topic. We dumb guys ask Sarah medical questions. Should I start doing the cupping for my desk job?
The cupping is also, that gets me going when people come out and it's like their whole arm is like all the way down. Like, and we've seen like college basketball, it's not even their shooting arm. It's like, first off, what is this guy doing that his arm is like that sore in March Madness where he needs like this extensive? And so we used to get it done in college and it literally is just like, they feel like it's the classic, like it produces results. Obviously, like you can see visible marks from the cupping, and then people think it's doing something just because they have like obviously visual results, but that is actually old school like Chinese medicine. That's where it came from. So it's kind of the herbal, sort of Chinese medicine thing that people think it's cool. People think they're warriors for it. They look like people take a shot. I don't know.
I still think Michael Phelps is to blame for that one. I still remember that Olympics, 12 years ago, he was covered in them. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't think you can all of a sudden be cupping and just like have 1,000 gold medals. I'm pretty sure you need to be like 6 feet tall with like a 30-foot wingspan and like the greatest swimmer of all time. So I don't think it was the cupping, but I've always blamed that on him.
Do you think it's more or less than one person that did cupping but didn't really know how to swim and then drowned?
They just thought that was the magic sauce. They just like
got it, dive right in, right to the bottom of the pool.
The over under is a half, and I'm not.
I'm going.
I might go over.
People are idiots.
Oh yeah. Never underestimate the power of the dump. I think it was
R.I.P. Cousin Bob.
Yeah. you're like the over under is 1.5. You're like, well, why? Just make it a half. Right. Like I know one.
One of them's on me.
I think it was a Stephen Wright joke. Shout out Stephen Wright, great, one of the greatest American joke writers of all time. It's like, think about how dumb the average person you know is, and then realize that half the people in the world are dumber than that. It's like,
I love that.
Great joke.
I love that. It's so funny you said Stephen Wright, and I'm sure you can't. Do you see all that text?
I see a lot of text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad just texted me yesterday. Thank you, reminding me. I never responded. I hate when I do that because he's like, my son hates me. It's like, no, I'm just busy.
Nah, you're gonna be fine, Jordan. I mean, Mike, don't worry.
35 of Stephen Wright's most famous quotes.
That's great. That's also shout out my grandpa. He is always huge Stephen Wright fan, and he put together a list of Stephen Wright jokes and sent it to me, and had the title be "Only Read the Funny Ones." So if you want to send that to your dad, you can steal that one. Just trademark Aaron Kassoff. But moving on, Mike, I need you for this one because you gave me a very important phone call about 4 days ago, and now the Timberwolves are up on the Nuggets 2-0, which I don't know how many people in the world saw that coming. So completely shocking, Mike. I need you to tell the world what happened about 4 days ago.
All right, Anthony Edwards is the best player in the NBA.
He's really, really good.
That's it. That's it. I was driving home being like, all right, argue yourself. Okay, start with Jokic. I'm not going off of these two games. Anthony Edwards is the best player in the NBA. What he's doing offensively, defensively, and most importantly, the way he's getting this team. Speaking of Special Olympians, he's got Karl Anthony Towns not screwing up as badly and is turning the guy I hated the most into regular Olympian type player. They smoked Denver without Rudy Gobert. Their defense was electrifying, and every time they would go to a timeout and commercial and things, and it would show Anthony Edwards with the team, it's like this is a 22-year-old kid, and he's smacking him on the back of the head. And you could tell that entire team runs through him.
100%.
He is the best player in the NBA. I can't believe how right I was. Now, we're still only 2 games into this, but God, they won 2 on the road. It's going to be really hard for Denver. And I didn't bet it.
You want to tell them about the phone call? Or you want me to?
Yeah, I called Sasha. I was sitting outside. I was on my break at my job. I wasn't like just, working. And I was like, we have got to bet. Minnesota was plus 1,300 to win the finals. It was before the series started. And I went through my entire slew of reasons why we needed to do it. And my whole thing was that I personally wanted to put a bet that was larger than what I like to do on it. And I couldn't talk myself into it. And I'm so stupid that I couldn't just do a reasonable bet, which is half our conversation. And Sasha's like, well, just cut it in half and bet that. And I'm like, no, I have to figure out a way to get myself to be like, this makes sense and do it. So I didn't do it. And now they're plus 290 to win they're the second best odds in the league to win it right now. So Sasha bet it.
I bet the regular amount that I bet on it, and
I'm doing it for you.
I appreciate it, but I want to know that one's all you, and I'm taking you out to a nice dinner if that hits.
Thank you. I would love it. I have to zag now. I'm going to bet the Thunder right now. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I might have to do it. I don't know. I love the Timberwolves. I don't see how the Timberwolves, I think the Timberwolves are going to kick the shit out of the Celtics.
I mean, it's hard to say no. It's hard to say that you can't. And I'm rooting for it now because fuck the Celtics, and I would like to win a bet. But also, it's like they were able to just dismantle the Nuggets, the presumed second favorites, just behind the Celtics, without Gobert. And also,
and now Gobert's coming back with the baby bump.
Yep, he's going to come back. He's going to have a huge game whenever he comes back. So it's like that's at least a few games of a baby bump, right? I feel like people don't in football. It's always an asshole.
And he's an asshole. And now his teammates, it's even he's a new dad. They're going to rally around him because he's not a likable guy by everything you hear.
Yeah,
they're going to rally. Oh my God! And they have off their bench. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Naz Reid are maybe the 2 best bench players in these playoffs besides Derek White on the Celtics. And I think Derek White doesn't start. So Derek White.
Wait, hold on. I've been watching Knicks games. What were those 2 words you said?
Derek White.
No. What kind of players?
Bench play. Yeah,
What is
bench
that?
players.
Okay, never.
Yeah. You think you don't know it now? Wait, now you got no Mitchell Robinson, buddy.
We'll get to that. Come on,
Ugh.
Jesus.
Thank God you don't have Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And they're talking like he's going to go to the Knicks. No fucking way would Tom Thibodeau want Joel Embiid. I'm telling you, there's no way.
Definitely.
I don't think Embiid wants that. I feel like he's seeing this and he's like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in playing
yeah.
as much.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go anywhere. Also, that like everybody was chanting "fuck Embiid" in your home. Like they would travel to like that's a pretty serious vitriol between a fan base and a player.
Yeah. The Timberwolves. I'll finish with this. In the Timberwolves, they are 8 solid men deep. 8 solid. Naz Reid was better than Karl Anthony Towns in game 1.
Yeah.
They benched Anthony Towns for like the last 7 minutes and put him in for the last 2 because I don't think you want him going on I'm a superstar, you bench me in the fourth quarter, but like it was all Naz Reid and like and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is as good of a perimeter defender as Jaden McDaniels, and Jaden McDaniels is maybe like the best perimeter defender we have in the NBA right now. They were everywhere. If they keep up this level of intensity and Karl Anthony Towns doesn't sink the ship, which was the only reason I didn't make the bet, is because I bet the Timberwolves all season. And I lost so many of those bets because of that moron.
Yeah.
But, times have changed. Anthony Edwards, man, he's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up, 22 years old, and he's going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the number 1 player in America after this,
and also
the world.
I also like that he's kind of people because everybody's making those MJ comparisons, and I love the way that he's just dispelling them. He's like, "That's the greatest of all time. Don't compare me to that." It's like that's exactly the kind of attitude that a guy like that should have too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he looks like a young MJ. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Now it's like old hat to say it, but he really does.
You were early on that trend for sure.
Yeah, old MJ, but he's got a post up game.
Yeah,
old MJ, but then young MJ, but then he posts up like old MJ and prime Kobe. Like he's got a lot to his game. There's a lot in that bag.
It's gonna look good in the Knicks uniform. But the I feel like Mike, you alluded to it a little bit. It was $100,000 fine for Murray, and it seems that it was a big deal, which I don't know why it didn't upset me, and I feel like I'm kind of in the minority when I'm like, he threw some shit, he was upset, like not great, but $100,000, Jesus.
I feel like the maturity level on this, like that's to me, I'm like what?
Yes.
What? You can't do that as a grown adult. Like I don't know. To me, it's mind blowing. Do I think it was like a huge deal in terms of like impacting the game? Probably not, as we can see, but. I mean, the fact this move, I don't even get, like, was he angry or was he trying to achieve something with this? That's what I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around this. Like, was this just a really bad temper tantrum or was there purpose behind this?
We live in a society, people. What are we just going to allow this? So now, as long as it's no big deal, we can just hurl shit onto the court? I mean, that's fucking outrageous.
I understand. It's a little different.
It's a professional player throwing things. If you're a fan and you throw something on the court, you're banned for life. You're never allowed in that stadium again.
Potentially arrested. They would throw it away.
Yeah, arrested. What if somebody rolled their ankle? What if Anthony Edwards stepped on it? What if Josh Allen stepped on it? I don't know where he was.
That time.
Time. There we go. Got him. I was just thinking about him.
I understand that it's not great, but
it's a suspension, dude.
What's his name? Has Patrick Beverley been like? Has there been any sanctions levied against him for throwing a basketball at a fan's head? Like that seems way worse to me.
I'm sure he got fined.
Like
you're throwing it onto the court while they're playing,
and twice, 2 objects. Like it wasn't just one where it was like a sudden outburst. Like it was continual.
And he was bitching at the Jamal Murray was in such a mental pretzel in that game.
Yeah.
The best analogy was when they were double teaming him coming up the court, and he was just like, they're like, it looked like a National Geographic, like of like an animal being hunted. Like he was so, like that's how much they broke his brain.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You can't throw things on a court.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just like I don't know. I'm glad he's not suspended because I hate it. Like I didn't want Draymond to be suspended back when he had his shit going on in the playoffs. It's like I don't want it to ruin the series. but I but it felt like a lot. I understand that he was pissed, and it's just like an inexcusable thing to do. But I hope they can get it back together. And it's like, I want this series to keep going on. It's like, I don't know who I'm rooting for. I really like both of these teams. And I think I want whoever comes out of this series to win the West. I hope that they'd be able to dispatch of whoever, but I just want a lot more of these games. And frankly, I just hope they're a little bit closer. Like, I want them to be meaningful basketball in the fourth quarter of these games. Like the first, I guess.
The NBA wants it to go longer too, because that's why they didn't suspend him.
Yep.
Because this series is over if he's out. The series is probably over either way. You know who you listen to? I don't know if you stick around and do the TNT stuff after. Like, Charles Barkley was like, this is over. This is a sweep. And I know sometimes he's way wrong. But like, I do think, like, when him and Shaq start talking real ball, like, at certain points, they're like, their tone changes. Barkley's like, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Just the same way that I set a timer for you with Josh Allen. I set a timer every time Charles Barkley's on the screen until he starts talking about the big old women in San Antonio, because that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh every time. Just it's sometimes you got him on the screen. It's just like you go to see Billy Joel. It's like, play Piano Man, dude. Just play the fucking hits and talk about the big old women in San Antonio and their church. Gets me every time.
I saw a very funny meme for Piano Man.
What was that?
It said for a song titled Piano Man, the guy with the harmonica won't shut the fuck up.
Great bit. But now what everybody's waiting for, we got to talk Knicks Pacers. I cannot believe the Knicks pulled that out. That felt like a game that they were going to lose, but the Knicks keep finding ways to win. And it seems like I froze. Did you guys catch up? Did I catch up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got
All right,
you.
good. We're back. I want the Knicks to just win in a fucking blowout already. I'm tired of just having I can't sit down to these games. I'm stressing out Andrea. I'm stressing out everybody in apartments around me because I'm screaming at the TV. I'm just watching every one of these other games, like all these other teams that are winning. It's like, it's like, we got it within 10, and then it's like, go back up to 15. And it's just like dominant. I just want one fourth quarter where the Knicks can win and just be in dominant fashion. It's like every one of these games from halftime on, from the second quarter on, it's just going back and forth. We're down 4, down 5, up 1, back to down 4, and it's just like I can't handle it anymore.
I hate to break this to you, but that's not going to happen because they have no bench. Like they're you know what I mean? They're petering by the end of the games, like giving everything they have. I feel like to close these things out, and because their just levels of fatigue throughout the game are building, like it's going to be hard for them to kind of pull big away against anyone when they're playing so many minutes. And I feel like that's why it's coming down to the wire, continually for them.
I agree with Sarah.
I know.
They're starting to play 4-on-5 at this point.
Yeah, but we
to get Jalen Brunson some blow. Tom Thibodeau, well, first of all, should get Jalen Brunson some blow.
Yeah.
But also, Tom Thibodeau is going to start taking him out and just being like 4-on-5. I'm not putting in Precious Achua.
I really don't want to play that guy at all.
I'm not doing it.
I don't want to
Miles
play
McBride, or that's it.
That's all we can have. And now I'm legitimately very worried about Mitchell Robinson being out, but like, oh, no shit, Mitchell Robinson's hurt again? No way. I can't believe it. Like, but his defense looked really good, and the way that their big men play, I just feel like Indiana is so tall and so fast, and they were shooting like 54% through half. Like, they were shooting unbelievably. And I don't know how we're going to match up against Turnwell. I wonder if this guy Sims that we have, he's played like okay, but he's a big dude that might be decent on defense.
Jericho.
Yeah, that is he going to get some minutes? I don't know who's going to get. I feel like we have some other mildly competent people on the bench that haven't even sniffed the court. But like, what if Hartenstein has to go play against Turner and like, what are you getting foul trouble? Are we just going to like throw Deuce McBride on him and hope for the best? Like, Miles Turner couldn't miss a free throw. That dude was unbelievable. And then Siakam can't miss a shot unless he's at the free throw line. And what Halliburton, fucking Dick Cheney Halliburton, can't just is unbelievable with the ball and finds everybody. I didn't think I cared that much about the Pacers. I was glad we got through the Sixers. And it's just like I immediately just turn into a little kid watching Reggie Miller just completely ruin my life every time I see the Knicks play the Pacers. And it should be illegal for Reggie Miller to call this game tonight. I want to go out and say Reggie Miller should not be allowed in fucking Madison Square Garden calling this game. There's no way that's okay. It's bullshit enough we have like the MJ. It's like this happens every time with Reggie Miller calling the game. And then it's like, you got the Jordan logo on your jerseys. And it's like the Knicks are just bound to lose these fucking games, and I'm sick of it.
Did you hear Reggie Miller say that the boogeyman is coming?
Did he? Fuck that guy, dude. I hate that guy.
He said, "Hey, New York, the boogeyman's coming."
You want something? You want to know what's stupid? You ever seen Reggie Miller's tattoo?
No.
Google Reggie Miller's tattoo right now. Good podcasting. I want a live reaction from Mike and Sarah over Reggie.
Everybody, all the listeners too. Right
Reggie
now,
Miller's tattoo.
Even if you're driving,
People don't talk about this.
Just
Pull over. Pull over. Just Google.
No, just keep driving.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're not on your phones when you're driving. Get out of here. Reggie Miller. I'm driving right now. Oh.
Wait, what?
Yeah. People don't talk about that enough.
I want to get that on my belly.
You want a nice sun on your belly button?
That would probably help with the sunburn.
I have a lot of questions about this. Who thought this was a good idea?
I couldn't tell you.
Reggie.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting.
Reggie's an idiot. Have you heard Reggie call games? I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
He's a good, he's not exactly, a genius.
No.
That's a bad tattoo, Reg.
Real bad.
Come on the podcast. Defend yourself.
I want to see it. I want to see it live. Come to Albany.
Yeah, show us your belly button. Wait, is he coming on? No, he's not on yet. I'm trying. I'm messaging him.
But yeah, I hate that. I hate that he's going to be in the building, and this feels like a heartbreaking loss, and I'm not ready for it. I don't want it to happen, and I'm whatever. I need to go totally on. Brunson has been unreal. He's scoring 40 points. Obviously, it's easier to score 40 points when you play 73 minutes a game. But Josh Hart is just an absolute animal. Can't imagine anybody that wouldn't want him on their team. Talk about conditioning from earlier. That dude is the epitome of that dude never looks tired. Ball goes up. He's ready to. He's exactly what you were just preaching earlier. That is Josh Hart. Like he's not. I mean, he's not going to be out-hearted by anybody. So I just absolutely love that. And
I saw what you did there.
I know. I am worried about this Pacers team. I was very, very scared watching this game. They're so fast. They also are very well conditioned. They're from the tip. They are just going such hard ball denial on Jalen Brunson. They're picking him up from coast to coast through the whole game. Like he can't get space at all. I mean, it's amazing he's still able to make these shots. I mean, he's not a big guy. He's been making shots over people that are bigger than him, forever. But it's just they're making the Knicks work for every single shot they get. And TJ McConnell had like an unbelievable game. So it's like I'm telling myself, like, he can't do that again. But also he just they kept making comments about like, oh, TJ McConnell's gas. It's like maybe he is, or maybe he's just like super red and sweaty. But he looked like he was I don't know if he can keep that up. But I don't know if we can keep it up either. Like I can't believe we've made it this far the way that Thibodeau plays these guys.
I hope I hope this isn't like a theme with Tom Thibodeau.
What?
Seems like he plays his players a lot. I mean, like, I hope he doesn't continue this. This isn't like a theme of his career.
Yeah, it's been forever, and it will be forever. This is how he does it.
Literally happening again. It's literally happening again. Everybody's dying.
Yeah, it's just
Tom Thibodeau's just like, play, check ball.
We're just getting
tired, coach.
Yeah, just keep showing them out there. And also, the only other thing I had on what? Tell me something good.
Go.
The only thing I had is we need to give the announcers a thesaurus because I'm tired of watching this game and having every announcer and everybody's like, the ball just doesn't stick out there with the Pacers. That just keeps moving. The ball never sticks. It's like, come on, I get it. I agree with the point. Find another way to say it. Can't have every guy, every person. Ball doesn't stick. Ball doesn't stick. I know. Stop saying it. Come up with a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ton of those with football, and I'm trying to think of it, but I'm in off-season mode.
Yeah.
When we go back into football, give me 2 weeks, and I'll tell you all this shit. These announcers, they just repeat. They repeat.
It's just
Tony Romo. I don't know, Jim.
It's so easy. So easy. Thesaurus. Just find a new way to say the same thing.
You need Walt Clyde Frazier back out there.
Yeah, styling,
percolating,
profiling. I still wrote the neophyte is. It was always my favorite.
I remember being a kid.
Yeah,
and that's how I learned what the word percolating meant.
There was
he's percolating on offense.
In college, me and my roommates we'd have to take a shot every time. An auspicious start for Melo. Every fucking game.
See, but that's what you grew up on. So you're like almost like you've been raised in a rich town of rich language.
Yep.
I'm a poor man from Buffalo, just listening to I don't know, Jim.
This is a house of learned doctors.
Yeah, I'm listening to Iron Eagle. Isn't Iron Eagle the announcer for the? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, the fact that you're where you are should give you a ton of hope for the future.
Yeah.
I do not think the Knicks can keep this up. There's no nobody's ever done it.
Yeah.
But that's not because you're not talented enough. It's because you don't have enough human beings to play basketball right now.
Yeah, and it turns out it's a team game, and when a guy plays 1 minute a day, he doesn't have time to really gel, and the whole team doesn't have time to know like where they like to be on the court. It's like you got to play together if you want to be good.
And this is a draw. I think Tom Thibodeau as a coach has got so much that he brings to a team, but you ice out your bench like this, man, then next year build a team where he's comfortable playing 10 guys. So when he kills 3 of them, you still have 7.
Yeah.
Or, I guess you need like 12 guys. He needs to have people that he wants to play.
Yeah.
Break class in case of emergency people. I keep saying Shake Milton and Alec Burks are NBA players. They were players in playoff series.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you got to do something here.
Yeah, but now it's like I wonder what would this team look like? What would this series look like if we had Julius Randle, if we had Bogdanovich? I mean, obviously he came in late of the season, but he's a great role player to come out and get 10 minutes a game and shoot some threes.
Right.
And you had Mitchell Robinson. I mean, if you had those extra 3 players, like what would that look like? Would it be a lot different? I don't know. I personally am not. Still not a huge fan of Randle, but I think that we could. I think I'd rather turn him into something else if we can. But whatever.
But if Jalen Brunson can do with Julius Randle what Anthony Edwards is doing with Karl Anthony Towns, then yeah. You just need players to get some blood. They need some rest.
Yeah. They need to sit down.
I think you'd be looking at the same numbers, but DiVincenzo would score instead of 25, he'd score 22, and instead of playing 44 minutes, he'd play 37.
Yeah.
And that's longevity in the play. I think if the Knicks had Randle, all right, say Robinson's out because he's always out, Bogdanovich, and we lose one other guy?
I mean, Robinson, Bogdanovich, and Randle, those were the 3 I mentioned.
No, so just put in Bogdanovich and Randle. I think the Knicks would be my favorites to win the East
over the Celtics.
Yes, with this team,
all right,
absolutely.
Well, that makes me feel good.
Absolutely,
I'll live in this hypothetical
because
land.
They're all heart, and then you can go 9 deep. Yeah. That's a team that will crush the Celtics.
All right, well, let's hope
like maybe not 4-0. But I mean, over the course of 7 games, just grind them out.
All right. Well, don't get me excited. We got game 2 to worry about tonight, which I'm very scared of. Sarah, you've written here. Are we watching hockey? Are you watching hockey?
No, I was just checking in with you guys.
Oh, nice.
I'm not.
I've been watching
Shesterkin.
Yeah, Igor Shesterkin, great name. I mean,
love that name.
Maybe soon. The NBA games are getting like a little bit more sparse, so I feel you could like actually get into some more hockey now that we're kind of coming to the semifinals where it's calmed down. So maybe next week, tune in, people. We might be watching hockey then.
Watch a game or something. It's always exciting. Yeah. There's very few things better than playoff hockey, even when you don't know like anything. Love it. Is that your background?
Outside of Madison Square Garden right now, my buddy's going to game 2. It
says
don't sleep.
Tell him to. That's pretty fitting. Don't rest. Don't sit down. Just run.
Yeah. They're still on the court from game 1.
Yeah, tell him to go down to the court and ask Reggie to open up his bottom button and see his tattoo.
Show me that little belly star.
But then baseball quick. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's still too early. I'm just watching the Yankees. I'm not paying attention to really how anybody else is doing. All I'm paying attention to is how well the Yankees are doing and how poorly the Astros are doing, because both of those things make me happy. But did you guys see like maybe the worst announcer jinx of all time last night?
Mm-mm.
I read about it.
Yeah, sorry. So let me see if I can play this. Let me see if you guys can hear this now. So this was MLB TV was kicking it to the game. It was the Dodgers against the Marlins yesterday. So Yamamoto, the new pitcher from Japan, who's been pitching pretty great and did have an incredible game yesterday. But this is the MLB TV kicking it to the start of the Dodgers game. Let's see if we can.
Don't take this the wrong way.
He said that before the first pitch of the game. This is the MLB TV sending it to the game.
What?
The guy has not thrown one pitch. They are showing him throwing his last warm-up pitch right now, and that was what he said.
Shinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins. Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto. Jance, when your first pitch. Right here on MLB Network for Harold.
He doubles down. He keeps saying it. He's like, this is a no-hitter alert. We haven't even thrown a pitch yet. No-hitter.
Shooter.
They got a logo. They got a logo on it.
Wow.
Love that.
That just seems like that name is an announcement.
Jism. We just got Jism.
But anyway, that's about all the baseball that I care about outside of the Yankees.
Look, if I was like a random like MLB announcer trying, take your shot. What if he threw a no hitter?
Yeah, would have been amazing.
That guy is famous.
I mean, he threw 8 innings, I think that might have been the only hit he gave up. Like, he pitched a great game, but that was just what a bad
awesome.
Look, but hilarious.
Cringe.
I mean, they miss 100% of the free throws when they do that.
Yeah.
And same thing with kickers.
Yep.
It's all the same.
Yep. Yeah, it's good that jinx
That's
is
why
always
everybody, when you're watching these games, if you're rooting for things, shut up, because you too can jinx everything.
Yeah, it's nothing. There's nothing else that will make you feel stupider. There's many times I've told Andrea, I'm like, you need just don't say that right now. She's like, what? I'm like, you don't get it. What you're saying right now is not okay.
Yeah, I get a lot of dirty looks for that. Stand back where you were. If you move into here, we are not going to play well on offense.
Go back in the bathroom.
Josh Allen is not. Yeah, he's not had an incomplete pass since you've been in the basement. Get back out there.
God, I'm so stupid. Check. Let's win the people some money, Mike. We're gonna and Sarah, we've stayed hot. We're looking good. Pixie sent in last week. I think we're all pretty good. We got I know I ended up going with the Knicks. We had the Pacers over 216.5, and we had the Mavs Clippers over 207. So we're winning some money. Let's look to keep it hot. Sarah, what are you feeling this week? And please don't break my heart.
I'm not even touching your game here. I'm going to go Nuggets plus 4.5. They're not going to get swept. I do not think. I feel like this is the game they'll win, like a little letdown game for the Timberwolves. And I don't know. I just feel like they pull this one out. And then I do think the Timberwolves take care of the series easily. But I feel like this either feels like a Nuggets win or at least a closer, maybe 2-3 point game from there.
I like that a lot. That fits everything that I feel that I know about sports. When a team starts looking that good, the Nuggets plus 4.5. I like that.
Was I on mute during my rant about Anthony Edwards to you? Listen, whenever things are going, there's no way things swing the other way.
Never once.
It's always sweeps, always. Up in the first quarter, blowout. That's how it goes.
Always.
No, I like that pick. And a win's a win for the Timberwolves. So
absolutely.
And I didn't bet it either way. God,
Mike, what do you got? How are you starting to round us out?
I'm glad you didn't look. Did you look?
No.
Don't look.
But you don't. You
I
did
wrote it in and I bet it while we were talking. When my face is lighting up, I bet it.
What?
That's my first basketball bet in a while.
Tell the people.
I have Pacers money line tonight. Sorry.
You couldn't even just give me the points. You couldn't take the 5?
No, money line. I love plus money.
I know
plus.
you do. Fuck off, man.
Plus 156. So it's not a knock on, but all I'm going to say is even if the Knicks were to totally collapse right here, dude, understandable. This isn't Joel Embiid being tired in the fourth quarter because he's lazy.
Yeah.
This is you guys are this is the fastest paced team in the league.
Yeah.
They're a shitty defense, but they are so fast that it's I don't know. Father Time is undefeated. These miles weigh on you, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think the Pacers are good. They're a good team.
They are good.
Mm-hmm.
If we were talking gun to my head going into the series, I picked the Pacers. I just didn't want to get into that. I picked them.
Well, you keep talking shit like that, you might have that gun to your head.
No, listen. Just saying, I do think the Knicks. This series is going 6 or 7,
yeah.
And the thing with the Knicks is they got to get it to 7. If they get it to 7, Knicks are going to win. But I think the Pacers are going to win it in 6. Is my guess.
Makes me upset, and I got to tell you, if I was an outsider looking in, just literally Reggie Miller being in the building and how close that first game was, and all the bitching with the refs. It's the 2-minute thing came out, and there were all those other missed calls. It's just everybody just focuses on the one that was so clear. It's there are lots of other missed calls. It's I don't like that it was that much of a ref show. I think it's going to go the complete opposite way this time. I think it will be close. I really wish you would just take the Pacers plus the points right now, because then there could be a best of both worlds for me.
You can take a plus the points. But I got to take money on
the Pacers scare me a lot in this game, if I'm being honest. But lucky for you, I'll never be honest.
Well, lucky for you, I bet it, and I'm ice cold, and I don't make the good bets.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I only make the bad ones.
I appreciate it. I'm going to close this out. I got to take Celtics minus 13.5. If I'm going to see them against that Cavs team with anything, I think less than 18 points, I think that's free money. The Celtics may slip up in one game. I don't think it's going to be this one. I think that they want to just put the Cavs out of their misery as quick as possible, and I feel like they're going to go up 20 in the first quarter, and I don't think that they'll look back. So Celtics minus 13.5 feels like a steal.
Yeah, I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to be in Cleveland. I don't know if I've told you guys that.
You got me on that once before, so
I think this is the series where it shows.
Yeah,
he's trying on his Knicks.
Yeah, you're going to get abused. It's like with Jared Allen being out too. It's just like
yes, right.
It's a real problem. It's like nobody else is on that team. So Sarah's got the Nuggets plus 4.5. Mike's taking the Pacers money line, and I got the Celtics minus 13.5. So we're staying hot on this podcast so far. So you might as well tag along, but. Listen, we appreciate you. We got a big guest next week for our 1-year anniversary episode. Big one, episode 52 next week. We have a surprise guest going over the NFL draft. So we love you. We appreciate you. Share, as always. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Share with your friends. Watch us wherever you get podcasts. And
OnlyFans.
Yeah, on OnlyFans. And share the YouTube. Get to see our beautiful faces. We got lots of fun. So we love you, and we will see you next week.
We got to have like a cool sign out.
You got to stop recording.
No, I'm never gonna. What do you think about this one?
Never gonna stop.
All right. Leave that all in for the YouTube.